everyone, it's Wednesday today and this is your video if you have the Year 2 booklet for comprehension, okay? So if you have this book here with the monkey on the front, you are working with me today and the rest of the week, and we are going to be working on page 22 and 23, okay? So before we begin then today, we're going to look at our learning question. And our learning question says, can I read and answer questions from a piece of text? And that's what we've been doing all week, isn't it? So we've been thinking about how we can read a text and how we can retrieve answers. Now, who can remember what retrieve means? Excellent. So it means taking out the important parts of the text, doesn't it? The parts that will help us and give us information that will help us to answer the questions. Now, a little tip that I have seen this week so far is making sure that you, the children, are reading the questions on yourself, okay? Because that's just as important as answering them, because if you read them by yourself, you will then know what to do, okay? So it's not just about reading the text, it's about reading the questions as well. So today then, we're going to have a look at a piece of text, and it's all about habitats. Now, in Year 1, we haven't really looked at habitats before, and if we have, we might not have called them habitats. So just to give us a little bit of a reminder and to help us understand our text today, I thought our vocab for the day could be the word habitat. What is a habitat? Pause the video now and see if you can discuss with your adult what you think a habitat is at home. What do you think it might mean? Have a really good go and then we can have a look together, okay? So, a habitat is the natural environment in which an animal or plant usually lives. Okay? So, the word natural, that means that it is not made, it's already there, so it's grown naturally, or it's formed naturally, so it's happened by itself, just by how it is formed in the world, okay? It's not been made by people, okay, or purpose built. That means it's not been created for a purpose, so for people to live there or for animals to live there, okay? So for example, when we have a pet, that's not the natural environment, but we've created the environment for pets to live in, okay? So, I've now on my next board got 4 pictures of the different types of habitat we are going to look at in our text today. And I want to know if any of you know which kinds of habitats we can have. So there are 4 pictures here which represent, so which show us a type of habitat. So I would like you to pause the video now and have a look at the 4 pictures and see if you can write down on your whiteboard what you think the names of the 4 types of habitat are. And then when you unpause, we will discuss them together and we'll write the names down and see if you think you've got the same as we have, okay? So have a really good go. Super. So by now you should have 4 attempts at the types of habitat on your whiteboard. Let's see if you were correct. Let's see if your brains are working this morning. So let's look at the first picture together. I can see there's lots and lots of green leaves here. And I can see lots and lots of really tall trees. Now it looks really sunny. Look here, I can see the sun. But the ground also looks very wet and very moist. So it shows me that it looks like there's a lot of rain, but it also looks very hot, because if you look up here, some of the leaves are brown and dry, which means that they are close to the sun and it must be really hot there. So let's think of a place that's really hot, but also really wet. So there's a lot of rain, but there's a lot of sun. Can you think of the name of this type of habitat? A rainforest. Brilliant. And let's write that together using our phonics knowledge. Rain forest. Rainforest. Super. Well done. Now, let's have a look at our second habitat. What can we identify? So what can we see in this picture? Well, it's very, very dry. I can see lots and lots of dry ground. Look at these trees here. They are dry. There's no leaves. There doesn't look that there's much greenery at all. So I know, just by looking from this picture there, it doesn't look like there is much rainfall in this type of habitat. And I can see in the background lots of sand dunes. They are hills made out of sand. What do we think this type of habitat could be? A desert. Brilliant. And I know that when we were in reception, we did lots of work on Sonny the meerkat, didn't we? And he lived in the desert. Can we remember the name of the desert where Sonny the meerkat lived? This is really challenging your brains now this morning, year 1. Have a good think. It begins with a K. Give you a clue. The Kalahari Desert. Well done. So we're going to write desert. Desert. Brilliant. Now let's go down over here and have a look at this type of habitat. Now what can we see? Lots and lots and lots of water. And when there is a big area of water, it is called an ocean. Brilliant. And we know that underneath the ocean, so in the ocean, there are lots of different animals, aren't there? And sea creatures, and lots of different species that live in the ocean. And you've also got the coral reef as well. So lots of different things that live in the ocean, and we can explore them in our text today. Now the last one might look a little bit familiar. That means you might recognise it, you might know where this picture is. This is a picture of Stoke-on-Trent. So thinking about Stoke-on-Trent, that's the place where we live, what kind of habitat would we say that this is? It is a city, you are right, and this is called an urban habitat, okay? Because the word urban means that lots of people live there, okay? And it is a city. Brilliant. So we've got our 4 types of habitat. Now you might have seen these before, but today in your text you're going to explore lots of different facts about each one, okay? So let's go to our workbook for today and have a look at our text. Okay, and we're going to read the text together today, and I'm going to make sure that you can see. So you get your text and I would like you to follow with me, and we're going to read the text together, and I'm going to get my coloured pencil and I'm going to highlight any keywords or any facts that I might want to work a little bit harder on, okay? So let's have a look. A habitat is a place where a plant or animal lives. There are lots of different habitats, and different kinds of animals and plants live in each one. And then we can see here now, I've got 4 words, and these words are in bold, so they are darker than the other words, and this is called a subheading. Okay? And a subheading tells us the title all about the section of text we are going to read. So the first thing I would like you to do in your booklets today is go through the text and see how many subheadings you can find and put a circle around the subheadings so we know how many different types of habitat we are going to be reading about today. So find 4 subheadings for me, okay? And I'm going to do it with you. So I can see here that I have a subheading, and I'm going to underline that in my coloured pen. And this subheading is the word desert. So I know that all of this text now is going to be about the desert. I can see another subheading here, and this one is in bold again, and this one is about the tropical rainforest, and we wrote that word on the board so I've remembered how to say that. This piece of text is about the tropical rainforest. And then I've got another subheading here, and this one is all about the ocean. And then I have another subheading, my last subheading, which is urban. And remember, we spoke about the word urban, and that means it has been made for humans to live, okay? So an urban habitat is when it has been built for humans to live in. So now we've had a look at our subheadings, and we've identified the different types of habitats we're going to be looking at today. We are going to have a look at the questions now to see what type of questions we are going to be answering and what type of information we need to look for. So we're going to read through the questions and have a look at the style of questions. And remember, the questions are just as important for you to read, okay? So question number 1, why do you think it is difficult for animals to live in desert habitats? So where am I going to need to look to find the answer? Which section of writing, which habitat do I need to look into? Do I need to retrieve my answer from? Desert. Well done. So let's put a line underneath desert, because I now know that I need to look in the text where it says desert to find my answer. Okay? So my question's asking me why animals might not be able to live there. So let's see if we can find that answer. A desert habitat is somewhere that doesn't get a lot of rain. There aren't many plants, and it is difficult for animals to live there. Some desert habitats can get very hot, but others are very cold. One of the largest deserts in the world is the Sahara in Africa. So thinking about what we've just read and going back to our question, why do you think it's difficult for animals to live in the desert? Well, I know that the text has just told us that there are not many plants and it's very hot, which means there's not much water. And what do we need to survive? What do animals need to survive? We need food and we need water. So we know that animals find it difficult to live in the desert because it is very hot and there isn't much food. So we know now that that would be our answer. Brilliant. Now, each of the other questions in your booklet today, you're going to have a big clue about where you need to look by looking in the question. So question number 2, what is the biggest tropical rainforest in the world? So where are you going to need to look? What piece of text? The tropical rainforest subheading. And underlining our subheadings at the beginning will help us to find that really quickly. Let's do it together. And straight away I can see here tropical rainforest. So that's where I'm going to look today to find my answer. Okay. Now moving on to question 3. You have got a little bit of a different question here, and it says give one difference between a desert and a rainforest. And the key word in this question is the word difference. So remember, difference means something that's not the same, okay? So Miss James is tall, Miss Evans is short. What is the difference? Okay? That's how you would talk about the difference. So if the question was, tell me a difference between Miss Evans and Miss James, you could say, Miss James is taller, Miss Evans is shorter. Miss James has blonde hair, Miss Evans has brown hair. Okay? So thinking about something that's not the same. So the word there is difference. Okay, so have a good go, and remember, using those key words, you will need to read the desert and the rainforest to find out your answer. You could write a list of what is in the rainforest, what is in the desert, to help you see the differences clearly, okay? So if it's hard to do it straight from the text, that is a good method to use, okay? So, you have got 7 questions today from your text, and remember, I want to see you reading the questions as well. So if you could take a video, if your adult could take a video of you reading the questions and then going to the text to find the answer, so I know you've understood, that would be really, really super, okay? And then year 1, once you've done that, you have got Miss James's challenge of the day, okay? So my challenge of the day is I would like you to draw your favourite habitat and then label it. So which habitat do you like the best? And then you're going to use the information from the text, so everything that you have learned so far today, to label your favourite habitat. So label your drawing, thinking about all of the facts that you've learned today, okay? An extra marvellous me for completing my challenge as well. So, working today then on pages 22 and 23. Don't forget to send in your learning and your extra challenge to the year 1 email address, okay, so I can see how super we are getting on. Have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow.